All right, we're live. It's the Culver's postgame show. Culver's Welcome to Delicious. A couple of great locations in Birmingham, 280, Tattersall Park, off of 119 right there, and then also Stadium Trace out in Hoover near the Hoover Met. Lance is here. Dunaway is here. I'm Ryan Brown. We are live right after the Auburn. What looked like it was going to be an emergency Auburn loss discussion turned into an emergency Auburn overtime win discussion. I would imagine most Auburn fans, Lance, walk away from that game feeling like it was a win that felt like a loss.
I mean, they didn't score the final three quarters of the game. The offense is awful. And, I don't know if it would have been any different with TJ Finley in there. I will just say this. Coaches lose their jobs for losing games. If you can't make a, 26-yard field goal? That's almost a scholarship loss for me.
You go ahead and cut the guy before you fly back to Columbia.
Yeah, just hey, man, you're off scholarship now.
Yeah,
you earn your way back. I've never seen a game end like that. First of all, I don't know if I've ever seen. Well, I've seen a couple of field goals that short missed, but to lose the way they lost, that was amazing.
You're talking about dropping the ball before he crosses the end zone?
Oh yeah,
for the game-winning touchdown. Yeah, that's one for the ages there. I forget, I left the stat across the room there that Auburn's been outscored, I guess now 98 to 17 or something like that in the fourth quarter this year. And I know their hands were tied behind their back with the quarterback situation today, but when you get a chance, and even coming off an ACL, and even when the first kick, if they got bailed out on the offsides, even when that kick in overtime sailed ugly to the left, but luckily the Missouri guy had jumped off sides. You still, if Carlson's not healthy enough to kick, surely there's somebody down there that could kick the field goal that, or at least try to, that you bypass with 1:30 to go. You go for it on 4th and inches, and Robert Griffin III may have said 4 or 5 important things today. One of them was, well, if you do go for it on 4th and inches here today, don't hand it off to Tank Bigsby because your line's got no push, and now he's got to run for 4 yards and not just inches. It's got to be a quarterback sneak. And, of course, what do? They turn around and hand it to Tank Bigsby, and he doesn't pick it up. At that point, you got 90 seconds left in the game. You've got to, in my opinion, try the field goal that could basically win the game for you and play defense for 90 seconds against a team that had scored 14 unanswered, but none in the second half and had sniffed the end zone. So that's where I would go back to is what were we thinking with 90 seconds left in the football game that we're going to go for it on 4th and 1. We're not going to quarterback sneak it and do the Bush push. You're going to turn around and hand it to Tank Bigsby, who then is going to not even get back close to the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose a couple of yards. And then you let them march down and miss a chippy field goal. That was a disastrous second half.
Yeah, but watching Carlson kick, I don't know if they know something we don't about his health or something like that, but he ain't right. Carlson is not right. He basically missed 3 field goals today. He missed the one, got the reprieve, missed it again, then missed that one and got another reprieve. I don't know if Carlson's if he's 100% or something. I'm with you. I kick a field goal 99 times out of 99 there, because there is zero chance in my mind Missouri's driving the field after what I saw in that second half. But I don't know if they have faith in Carlson right now. He looks broken too. The whole thing's broken.
I would have gone for it, but the play call was terrible.
So you would have gone for it. So you had more faith in Robbie Ashford, that offensive line, that offense that had done nothing in the second half, instead of letting a Carlson with one healthy ACL give a shot at it for a field goal to basically walk it off. I would
have quarterback sneaked it. Really, they needed about 3 or 4 inches. If you can't pick that up.
Well, yeah, the play calling is crazy terrible at that point. Yeah, but I would have tried the field goal. And maybe it's not with Carlson. I bring on my walk-on place kicker who's over there, or somebody to take a shot if he's not healthy. If he's not healthy, why is he kicking? Yeah, why is he dressed? Why is he playing?
I will tell you, that was a dropped touchdown fumble for Missouri from maybe a 2-10 Auburn team. Now, I don't know if this thing, I don't think they can just flip back though. Missouri's bad. And speaking of Robert Griffin, he said 3 or 4 smart things. He was like, maybe these defenses are just that good. And then he quickly remembered K-State put 42 on Missouri and Penn State put 42 on Auburn.
Yeah, they're not that good. Trust me. Yeah, I don't know who coached a worse game, guys. I mean, everybody's going to talk about Brian Harsin getting fired. I mean, if I'm a Missouri fan today, I'm furious on my head coach. Absolutely furious. I would have fired Eli Drinkwitz walking off the field. Now, I don't like the guy to begin with, but he was just as bad as Brian Harsin today. That guy can't coach.
But what are you talking about after you make?
I'm talking about everything.
Yeah, but
about everything. I mean,
I don't understand why you settle for field goals sometimes. Like in that situation, you make that long completion. Now Auburn, every player is trotting down the field at that point, and they're thinking to themselves, "Man, we have just lost this football game." You've got their defense on the ropes, and just to center it up and play for a field goal. I mean, so many things. I mean, they rarely go wrong, but so many things can go wrong in a field goal. Why not just run a couple of plays and see if you can just run it in for a touchdown?
I agreed with that too. I mean, I'm on the opposite side of you
really?
guys.
You think that? You
can't make a 26-yard field goal.
Why? You never, Lance. You never put it in a college kicker's hands.
Okay, but I told the story. Our buddy C-Stu, 15 years ago, somebody missed a similar kick, and he said, I can make that right now. And so there was like 15 of us. We went to Oak Mountain High School, jumped the fence, and he had probably 30 beers that day, and he drilled a 35-yarder.
Yeah. No rush and not a snap, right? Didn't snap, put it down. I mean, that's different. That's different. You know, the whole snap.
Kid on scholarship. Yeah. Literally one job to do.
But they screw it up all the time. You watch college football, Lance. How often do you see kickers screw it up? I'm a Dunaway. I don't just settle for 3 there. I try to score.
And, well, I mean, you guys are obviously right because it didn't work.
I mean, but I know, but it sounds like hindsight. But Dunaway, I think you're with me. You were thinking it at the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Run it a couple of times. See what happens.
Has a coach ever been fired after a win?
Well, I mean, that's what everybody's asking in the chat room. Do you still think he gets fired? Because a lot of people, I think this feels like a loss to them in the manner in which they won and how poorly they played. I mean, Dunaway, start with you. What do you think? You've seen a lot of these.
It's a pretty asinine situation if you're just waiting for the guy to lose your next game. I mean, what are you doing at this point anyway? If you really think you're going to fire him after his next loss, then go ahead and pay him his buyout and go ahead and end it. I mean, don't. I mean, if the only thing that was the difference between firing him or not firing him is the fact that they won the game 17-14 because the kid dropped the ball going into the end zone for the game winner, then what you're doing is asinine at best at this point. If seriously, if we're sitting here every week waiting to break in the middle of football to do updates on whether or not Harsin's going to get fired or not, then Auburn's spinning their wheels at this point because they will lose a game eventually. So why not go ahead and pull the plug? If that's where you think the program is now, then yeah, pull the plug. I mean, if there's no way he can save his job unless he wins every game from now until the end of the season, then you're just killing time to quote the great Clint Black. You're just killing time at this point. So I mean, go ahead and move on.
What it does to fire a coach midseason. I've always said that. I don't know
nothing.
What the benefit is. But this team is bad. And, you know, we brought up last week when Vanderbilt hit their third win and they cashed their ticket for win total, that they probably had one more opportunity to win this year, and it would be against Missouri. I mean, you can start to make an argument. Auburn might be the worst team in the SEC.
You know, I don't know, Lance. I mean, I feel like, you know, just on name value, Vandy's worse. I know they're 3-1 playing Alabama tonight. You know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Missouri and Vandy will play, so I guess we can judge it based on that. Who knows? But, I mean, at best, Auburn's the third worst team in the Southeastern Conference, and that's not why you're paying Brian Harsin that kind of money.
Yeah, so, you're in a discussion you don't want to be in at that point.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Jim. Yeah, there's no doubt. And you watch that team, they've got no plan, man. I mean, what is their plan? What's their offensive plan? What do they do? I mean, they brought Holden Gerner in only because Ashford was hurt. They don't think Holden Gerner can change this team. He would have played in the second half if they did.
I know you guys noticed it though, but what Ashford was ready to go in the next series.
Yes.
And Brian Harsin called him off and let Holden have that whole series. And you know, I think they got a first down, one good play or something. And you know, they have a quarterback problem. And if you've got 4 quarterbacks, you got none. If you got no quarterbacks, you don't. If you got no quarterbacks, you don't win a lot of football games. I mean, that's the most important position on the field. But it's not just they got they got line problems. It doesn't help when they know you're going to run it with Tank and Hunter. I mean, there's 100 problems that they have, and it all starts with the roster. And your roster ain't going to get much better if you keep cutting the coaches' knees in the off season. So I didn't know what anybody was expecting to happen this year. Anyway, the roster is not going to get better until you recruit your way out of it, and you got to recruit your way out of it. And this guy can't recruit either because he can't recruit down here, or his legs have been cut out from under him, and he can't get it done because of what happened to him in the off season. But it's going to be an uphill battle recruiting to match the rosters that Auburn has to be where Auburn thinks they should be or deserves to be. And with the situation he's in, he can't recruit with Georgia and Alabama, their two biggest rivals, with Florida, with Tennessee, go down the list, LSU, Texas A&M. You can't Texas and Oklahoma coming to this league with instability and everybody not behind you. You're never going to catch up.
Well, I went through the Keith Knoll / Case Keenum days with the Rams, and you guys remember I used to make my kids watch, and when the Rams would score, I would give them little packages of candy. And there were games the Rams wouldn't score. I mean, touchdowns. And my point there is I can't imagine being a Missouri or an Auburn fan this year and having to watch those offenses because, Auburn rotates a bunch of bad quarterbacks. Missouri just stays with one bad quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Missouri is listen, I mean, that's the whole thing. We focus on Auburn here. If I'm a Missouri fan, I'm just as pissed. I mean, that team's so bad right now. They may be the worst team in the SEC. And, as Forrester says, who's an Auburn guy from the back row there, Auburn didn't convince me they're better than Mizzou today. I kind of agree with him. I think those teams are equally bad. So, I mean, that's where you are as a program. This is an early edition of the Culver's post game. Culver's, welcome to Delicious, two great locations. Highway 280, 119 in Tattersall Park. Also, Stadium Trace there in Hoover. Next Round Cocktails also brings you the show. You can find them at drinknextround.com. That is drinknextround.com. That Rosé Sangria. Also, the Salted Lime Margarita. Fantastic. We tell you all about them. Next Round Cocktails, drinknextround.com. Don't forget to use code WEEKEND in the Next Round store. Save on all your shipping. Nextround.store, nextround.store. If you're with us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and set alerts if you have not already. If you're with us on Twitter, hit that retweet. Give us a thumbs up. Share us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up there and like us on Twitch as well. What were you about to say, LT? I'm sorry about that.
They showed the 5-star freshman that I talked about in our pregame, Luther Burden III, his press conference from last year when he chose Missouri over Georgia and Alabama. I don't know what he got paid. I think Missouri's got some McDonald's money, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe NIL, they just offered more. But if I'm that kid, I can't transfer quick enough. They don't get him the ball. The offense is awful. And can you imagine a team like Alabama that needs, a versatile weapon like a Luther Burden that I mean, he's handcuffed with a bad quarterback.
I really don't know how good he is because he gets 0 opportunities.
I know. I'm with Dunaway.
I know.
I'll see his high school film Dunaway.
Yeah, I know he's a 4-star guy. And he picked Missouri over Alabama and Georgia, but after that, I don't really know a lot about him because he got pass interfered once early in the game, no call, and then he was never open again, or they couldn't get him the ball. So, great catch down at the end. Whoever cooked with the right ingredients to catch that ball down inside the red zone, whoever made that catch.
What was more frustrating, watching those two teams play with Robert Griffin III and Mark Jones doing the game, and Quint Kesnick, whose microphone never works, or the Aaron Judge cut-ins. Like, if I want to be watching the Yankees play, I'll go to Yes Network. I'm here for college football. I don't know what ESPN was doing.
No, I agree. Or at least put something on there. ESPN News is going to cover.
Tell me where I can go watch it. Don't interrupt my college football game for it.
No, I disagree with that, especially that game. I mean, I was upset. I mean, I had them on several TVs, so I was really upset when they started squeezing back the Michigan and Maryland and the Clemson and Wake Forest game. But the Missouri Auburn game, I was appreciative of the interruption. There was at least a chance there was going to be a run scored. The best arm on my TV at that time was the pitcher for the Red Sox.
Lil T says all the above. She was frustrated with all of it. Taylor Cord.
She had no complaints this morning when she was watching our morning show from the lake. Now she's got the complaints.
Pre-Auburn. All right, let's get some thoughts here. Landmine Believer, how did Harsin not go out and spend whatever it took for a quarterback out of the portal? Well, he got Zach Calzada.
Yeah, over Missouri, by the way. It came down to Auburn and Missouri, I believe, and he took Auburn. He took Calzada took Auburn.
He's got to be hurt because he could be playing for either one of those teams right now. And he was dressed. Finley was dressed, but it's clear. Hoke's reporting is correct, obviously, that this guy has zero intention of playing right now. Else he would have been in that game.
Yeah, this would have been a good game to have, like, I think Auburn wins the game by 2 touchdowns if Brady Cook is just like quarterback for both teams, like we used to do in the backyard, and you only had 9 people. You'd go 4 on the side, and one guy would quarterback both teams. If Brady Cook was throwing to the Auburn folks, maybe they win the game. Auburn does by more.
He was pretty bad. I don't know.
You ever quarterback, all-time quarterback?
All-time quarterback, yeah. Used to play.
I never really liked being the all-time quarterback.
Me either. You didn't. And I always felt like my friend was trying harder for one team and not my team.
So Brady Cook's numbers 14 to 24, 179 yards, 1 pick.
He was as bad. He was no better than Auburn's passing. He throws ducks too. I mean, there's nothing on his passes.
Yep.
Auburn only went 82 on the ground. Missouri 133 on the ground.
Auburn was terrible on the ground. The kennel's going crazy upstairs there, LT.
Well, I think the door's closed. Is the door closed? Can you open it?
Yeah, Bobby says, disagree that firing a coach midseason does nothing. Players will quit on a head coach. See 2012. Get the loser out. Name an interim. See players give a better effort. Happened in 1998. That's probably true. I don't know what that gains you other than the fact that you're buying tickets to the game and you don't have to go watch guys that have quit. But he's probably
good thing about the Auburn schedule. Most of the games are on the road from now on, right? So
good point. Yeah.
They're burning through home games left and right now. What was this, game 4? They got one more, and then most of the rest of the season's on the road.
Yeah.
Crappy schedule.
It's a good point by Bobby. I mean, Bill Oliver, those kids did play for him in '98. Not a very good team.
Good point, Bobby.
Yeah, I look ahead. I think LSU might be a road favorite. I think LSU might be a point favorite.
I don't know how you don't favor them. Who do they get today, LSU? Are they all today?
New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. So it's a nothing game. I don't know how you don't make them the favorite watching that Auburn offense. Like, if they can't move it on Missouri against Missouri's defense, how are they going to move it on LSU's defense, right? I mean, where are they going to find any offense, right? That first drive looked like a service academy. They had like 14 straight runs. And once Missouri's like, oh, okay, well, he's not going to throw it. We'll just stack up against the run. They were done. And, I mean, I assume LSU and anybody else Auburn plays starts the game that way. Don't you guys assume that?
Oh, yeah. You got to beat me through the air.
God, yes. I mean,
if Iowa and Auburn played in the the Outback Bowl,
I'd gouge my eyes out, Dunaway.
Yeah.
I'd gouge my eyes out. The offense of
that Auburn wouldn't score. Iowa would have it'd be like a 10-0 game.
Fun to win. Goose says Clemson needs to drop after that win too. No one thinks they're the 5th best team in the country. Boy, their defense got exposed.
Yeah, I got to say I was wrong. I said, the problem with Clemson is not the defense. I think they have an elite defense. I think Luganville agreed with me. That is not an elite defense because talked about this morning. Dave Clawson, it's basically all they're going to do is throw, and you know that. And that defensive line should have been able to manhandle Wake up front. That's why I thought it would be a beatdown. I was completely wrong. Clemson was lucky to escape with a win, but their defense is not good.
Yeah, a double overtime win, by the way. I agree with you. The defense didn't play well. They were able to run the ball a little bit too on Clemson with that mesh run, which I didn't think they'd be able to do. But you're right. Most of it was throwing the ball through the air. I worry about Clemson, but it had maybe it's Wake Forest is just better than offensively better than we thought they were going in. They're number 21 in the country. Hartman looks to be back and back into his groove. And that Dave Clawson guy, I liked it. Did you guys see him on game day?
Yeah, I did not.
He did the earbud interview, and he used to be the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, and the fans had just sung Rocky Top as Reese is tossing to him. And Dave Clawson, who spent some time here as the offensive coordinator, did you ever hear Rocky Top a lot in the game? And Dave says, I don't know about that, Reese, not enough. I just know that if the fact that you're having me on your show with you guys there shows that God does have a sense of humor. It was a great line by him.
Well, you know, Clawson was such a good coach everywhere. You know, he won a national championship, I think, at Richmond. And then, you know, people thought he was going to be, you know, this offensive genius coming in. It just wasn't a good fit. But, you know, he has done an incredible job.
Oh, incredible. I mean, that's a program that I just don't see how it competes. And he has made them well coached and interesting to watch. It's amazing the job he's done there.
One of my good friends, I won't use his name, he's back in his car in Auburn and has us on. And he just texted me and said, "Y'all are crazy. I'm glad I was there to celebrate our last win of the year." Don't know what you're talking about. This is a guy that has been to I don't know how many Auburn games in his life, goes every week, and that's how beat down he is.
Yeah, I don't think they win another game. I don't think they beat Western Kentucky.
Look, and I know I keep saying you can't just put it in the win column, but it's at least in play.
No, but if at that point you are 3-7
and you've given up, if you've given up, that's why I continue to say you can't just put it in the win column. Dunaway.
Yeah, but also that Western Kentucky scores points.
Yeah,
and you know the question becomes, can you get into a shootout with anybody?
Yeah. Let's see. Chase P says no quarterback can fix this team without an offensive line. They put him in and tried to run a tight end jet sweep like John Samuel Shaker and Brock Bowers.
We love us some John Samuel, but it ain't gonna work out. Brock Bowers is another level, man. And I mean, you can do anything with that kid.
He ran another one for a touchdown. He's got 2 carries for 2 touchdowns.
Not only did he run it
down the team.
Yeah, not only did he run it, he ran it a long way, Brown. What was it? It would look like 75 yards, and he's
got 2 70+ yard rushes in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, stiff arming a guy down the sideline, hurdling a guy down the sideline. Yeah. He looked like he could be the running back as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Bobby says he won't recruit. He refused to take calls from OL transfers last year when they said they wanted big NIL deals because he doesn't like certain players being valued more than others. He actually said that. That offensive line is a problem, obviously. I mean, essentially they were playing with their third-team center today. With Brahms having retired, then you have the injury. Now you got your third-team center out there. And again, they couldn't block for the run. I mean, Tank Bigsby is wasting his career. One of the best, talented running backs Auburn's ever had. And Dunaway, his career is just going to be a waste because he's had to run behind crap offensive line.
Can you imagine if he went to Michigan?
Yeah.
I mean, you see what Blake Corum's doing. I mean,
I know.
Just up and down the field.
Did you guys start him in fantasy football?
I did, in fact, yes.
Yeah,
I did.
I did not.
I did.
I started Brady Cook, though. I'm kidding.
No, you didn't.
I wonder if I've got a money bag by my name. I haven't looked in a while.
I'll check right now, Dunaway.
Hang on, I'll look right now, Dunaway. Oh yeah, Dunaway, you're in second place, Jimmy America.
Who's in first? Reed's wife. She always dominates me.
That is correct. Yes,
oh, really?
That is correct. Yeah.
Inevitably, when I'm in second, she's in first.
Yep. Tesla Talk says Missouri deserved to lose based on their end of regulation arrogance, not trying to score from the 2 with a minute remaining. Completely agree. Dunaway and I are with you, Tesla Talk. LT disagrees. He would have played for the kick. Dunaway, you and I just agree. Never put it in a college kicker's hands. I don't care if he's a Carlson or a Tiffin or a Reichard or any of those other great kicking names. I am not putting in a kicker's hands.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying you do anything risky or anything. Like a swing pass in the flat to anybody. I'm just saying that you run the ball and maybe he catches a seam and falls into the end zone, and you put a little pressure on them. I just
you apparently can't trust their running backs. You saw him fumble through the end zone.
That's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah. I don't know who you trust. Who do you trust in that game? There's nobody you can trust in that game. No. Everybody was bad.
The head coaches, kickers,
all the way down. Yep.
To be honest with you, I'm just glad it's over with. I regret at this point I showered before it and not after it.
Yeah, that was a painful game to watch.
Well, the second half was awful. I mean, it really was awful to watch.
Yeah, I hated that I was tying up that I don't have more TVs. I was tying up one of my TVs. Was that one?
No, I felt like what I felt like? I felt like when because of our job, when we have to watch Alabama play Western Carolina or Auburn, play Kent State or whatever.
Yep.
That's what I felt like watching that game. I'm like, I can't even believe I've got this game on a good college football Saturday.
Right. Or Auburn basketball played Georgia Southern in basketball.
Well,
it's 101 to 60 and you're having to watch it to the end.
I know.
There was some significance, though, because, I mean, if Missouri makes the kick or gets in there in overtime, I mean, we're on a 24/7 Harsin watch at that point.
We are. And we may still be. I mean, as somebody pointed out earlier, Malzahn was fired right after a win. Now, it was the end of the season, but it was right after a win. Charles, he puts this very well. There is a big difference between winning and getting a win.
Mm-hmm.
That is accurate, Dunaway, and I think that's the way Auburn has to feel.
Yeah, and I have to go back to Gene Stallings, who said the fun is in the winning. I don't know how fun that one was, but the hats off to the kids. They fought hard and everything. And if you're a student at Auburn, you only get 4 football seasons, so go roll Toomer's corners and everything. But it was a hard one. That was a tough W, and I think we're on 24/7 watch regardless. Anyway,
I agree. Another one of those college kickers just missed a kick for Florida. I'll tell you, that's why you don't trust him.
All that.
David on Facebook says, "Are y'all doing a late show tonight? Let's do it." I guess we are right after USC. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
All right. Tyler says Missouri trusted an offensive lineman to kick the winning field goal. That was their problem.
He looked like a fat kid dressed up as a football player.
It's a little thick.
Well, here's the problem: when you don't go over, they were bragging about, sort of, he's so confident, and he's the thicker kicker, and he doesn't have to go warm up in a net or something. Well, maybe you get your fat ass up and go over and take a couple of swings into the net. I mean, I know you want to be John Daly of kickers, but go over and take a swing that leg one time, there, Biggin, and see if you can loosen up a bit.
Says, I bet Georgia first half, Clemson full line. That's what we like to call a loser on both those. Sorry about that.
Dunaway barely escaped almost 2 really bad state losses early on with Missouri for the win. I thought that and then I thought Clemson was going to lose.
Oh, crap. I forgot the Auburn, Missouri one.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason why I was watching that game. I had a stake on that. New York Butcher Shop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I missed the first part. I was working from the bottom up. So here's why he pointed that out, because he has also bet on Miami, who is down 10-0 early to Middle Tennessee State. That's going to be 3 bad bets for you right there. I hate to tell you.
I'm getting smoked right now too.
Who gave you MTSU as a winner earlier?
I think that was you, Dunaway. You said they would play into the number, right?
Inside that number, yes.
Well done. Well done. All right, so that was our immediate Auburn reaction. We'll come back and do 1, 2, 3 of us. I don't know. After USC, what time will USC be done? LT, it's an 8:30 kick, right?
Well, again, that totals up 71. There's going to be no defense in that game, so I could see that game go to 1 o'clock. No,
to 1 o'clock.
No, to midnight.
12 o'clock.
To midnight. Yeah. So we'll probably do a midnight edition of this.
Yeah. So let's all plan to be back here at midnight. So that's a good time to shoot for.
Clay asked if I have a TV on the President's Cup. Not at all. It's a beatdown, and it's college football Saturday.
And it's no fun. If it was the Lib versus the PGA Tour, I'd be all about it. It'd have one of my TVs right now.
All right. Thanks to Culver's. Thanks to Next Round. Listen, if you don't follow us on social media or haven't set alerts, do that right now so you'll know when we're back a little bit later on. We'll come back around midnight and do some more of this and just recap the entire day. But that was our emergency Auburn reaction. Don't forget, you can still go to nextround.store code weekend, nextround.store code weekend. Save on shipping. Boys, enjoy your football. We'll see you back at midnight-ish.